Welcome to the Red Corner Show. I am Shamila Ramjawan, an academic, a global award-winning entrepreneur, founder of the Princess D Menstrual Cup, Olympus International Awards, and the Red Corner Show. Today, we are thrilled to welcome our guest, Jaedon Naidoo, a student at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, famously known as UKZN. Jaedon is the university's top graduate of 2025, an academic trailblazer who achieved a perfect 100% in 9 modules while completing a rare triple major in mathematics, statistics, and computer science. Jaedon's journey is one of bold choices and relentless curiosity. Originally enrolled in a medical program, he pivoted to pursue his passion for data science, where his love for problem solving found its true expression. A former National Olympiad participant, Jaedon combines academic brilliance with a deep commitment to sharing knowledge, evident in his YouTube channel dedicated to study techniques and productivity. He is currently pursuing his honors in statistics at UKZN and aspires to use data to solve real-world challenges. With humility, intellect, and purpose, Jaedon Naidoo is not just a scholar to watch, but a voice of the future. Welcome, Jaedon.
Thanks for having me, Shamila. Great to be here.
Yes, I think this is going to be such an interesting and intellectual conversation today.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so we are so proud of you. Achieving 100% in 9 modules is phenomenal. I mean, who
Thank
doesn't?
you.
Only Jaedon Naidoo can do that, right? So that level of precision and consistency is rare across the globe. I'd love to hear more about how you approached your studies. Was it routine, mindset, or something else entirely that helped you perform so well?
Sure. So the first thing is that I spend a lot trying to figure out when what are the most efficient ways to spend my time. And I actually watch a lot of YouTube videos, and like you said, now I make YouTube videos about what are the ways we should be studying because it's not always things that you would expect. And especially what you learn in school, they don't really teach you how you're supposed to be studying to, especially at a university level, when there's so much content to be able to cover it all efficiently. And the second thing is I have a background in math Olympiads. And the thing about math Olympiads is they they're just so hard that they teach you that being able to answer a question is like the bare minimum. And what you need to focus on instead is how to think outside of what you've been taught.
Mhm.
So it's almost a case of when you're working at that level, like I was participating in these Olympiads since I was maybe 9 or 10 years old. It's really helped to make the stuff at university and when I was in school, the stuff in school, it helped make that a lot more routine for me. And I think that's something in general, if you're training for something, if you can practice just like the next level up, then the thing you're trying to do just becomes, it's like a cheat code to make it almost easy for you. So if I had to sum it up, those would be the two main things I'd say that I've been doing throughout my life, but in this degree especially have helped me.
I like the way you say almost easy for you. It is really easy for you, right? So that is quite insightful. And I think, where you touched on the critical thinking, which is most important. So it's clear that your approach was intentional and grounded at all times. Now, I think a lot of students watching this will relate to or learn from what you've just said. So just, you pursued a rare triple major in mathematics, statistics, and computer science. Now, those are 3 subjects. They're my worst enemies, right? Now, that combination sounds intense and highly demanding. What drew you to all three, and how did you balance the complexity of each subject?
Yeah, so I know for a lot of people, like you said, those would be like your worst enemies, right? But for me, with the background in Math Olympiads, those are, if we're using the same analogy, I guess those would be my best friends and stuff like history and, geography, more of the theory subjects. Those would be like my worst enemies in a way. These are the ones that I really find enjoyable. But even so, a triple major in 3 years is still like, no matter how much you love it, it's still very, very taxing. And at UKZN, where I went, they timetable you for two majors. So because I was taking a third one, I was essentially taking 150% of the modules. So I was in a situation where I had a lot of clashes between modules and, it was still a lot of late nights that I had to put in. But the reason why I decided to go for it is I would one day, hopefully after honors, maybe next year, I would like to pursue a master's degree at an overseas university, hopefully. And I know that realistically, coming from South Africa, I have to have something more than just good grades to hopefully set me apart if I want to get into these top universities. And I spoke to a few of my lecturers, and one of them in particular said that it would really look good on my CV to say a triple major in 3 years to try to get around the very high barrier to entry at these top universities. So that was definitely my main motivation, and it was what made the struggles what made me push through the struggles, if that makes sense. Because it was a struggle. It wasn't just, you know, easy for me.
That makes so much sense. And it's so clear that you managed to actually turn your passion into structure, which I love. And I can see that you are a person of structure. That shows in your results. So, just transitioning from a medical program to data science
Mm.
is a significant shift. So many students stick with the initial path. They have this passion. When they're in grade 12, they choose their subjects and they know exactly where they want to go. They choose the universities, etc. From grade 11. So what gave you the courage to change direction, and what was going through your mind when you made that choice? I just need to know this. And then how did you identify data science as your true calling?
Yeah, so straight out of high school, there were always two options for me, really. And it was the medical route and the maths, stats, computer science, just data science in general, that kind of route. And initially, I chose the medicine route. And it was always a struggle for me to choose one or the other because they're really different fields. And what was drawing me to the medical field is just the way you can influence people's lives and help people. But after being there for, it really wasn't long. It was like 3 weeks that I was there. I know that I didn't get a sense of what medicine would be like in 3 weeks, obviously. But I knew that what it wouldn't have was maths, computer science, and stats. And it took that trigger of being there for me to realize that that is what I actually wanted. And it's also completely, if not easier, it's completely possible, if not easier, to help people with data science. It's just not in the same way as medicine. So I can still satisfy that urge to help people, even if it's not in medicine, doing what I love, which is data science. So
I
that's
like that.
why I managed to plug up the courage to switch to data science.
I like that. It's such a bold move. And you obviously got all your ducks in a row, and you knew exactly what you wanted to do, and the passion for helping people. Yes, for sure. So this takes a lot of clarity and bravery to pivot, and it clearly paid off from your results. So I just want to find out: do you have any of your parents or family in the medical fraternity or in the field that you're in now?
Yes, so my parents are both doctors. That was another reason why it was a really safe bet to go the medicine route because I had family doing it. And my brother is in data science. So at least when I switched, I had some family who I could still look up to and get advice from. He's doing his master's this year at Oxford in statistics. So I still do have family in this region, in this field, but even so, it was obviously still a bit of a mental barrier to switch from medicine to data science. But I am glad that I did in retrospect.
Do you think at some point you will go back and you'll do a 360 and go back to studying medicine?
I don't see it. No.
You don't see it
Never
happening.
say never, but I don't think so at this
Okay.
stage at least.
Okay. Well, time will tell. We're going to watch you.
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe in a few years it will be different.
And well done to your
There's
brother.
also a lot of overlap between things you can do in data science and technology and medicine. So maybe that will be something I go into, biotechnology and stuff like that.
Okay, awesome. So here comes the innovation as well. I love that. I love what I'm hearing. So well done to your brother on doing his master's at Oxford.
Thank you.
Um,
Thanks.
and with your family background with medicine, so I think you pretty much got it all sorted there in the family, with what you want to do and your passion as well. They say always follow your passion and your dreams and you will excel. So you prefer problem solving over memorization. How did this
Yeah.
mindset shape your way of studying, and what would you say gave you the edge in those mathematically intense subjects?
I think what probably shaped it for me was, like I said earlier, was the Olympiads because I'd grown up doing these mathematical subjects. That was probably what firstly gave me more of an advantage, but secondly, it just made me enjoy it because as from a young age, if you do something, you're more likely to enjoy it. And the fact that I enjoy problem solving, I think it's kind of the classic student dislike for memorizing a bunch of content. We use the word swatting. I'm not sure if that's
Yes,
something that's just South African. Okay, it's known everywhere.
all over.
Um, yeah, I don't really enjoy it because it seems like in the modern day with computers, you can't compete with the computer in terms of memorization. So it feels like it's important in certain professions like medicine. Obviously, you have to know a lot of theory before you can make decisions. But in the kind of subjects that I do, it's very little about rote memorization and a lot about using what you've learned to solve problems because that's what a computer might not necessarily be able to do better than you. I mean, nowadays with AI, even computers can do that probably better than us, but it's definitely what I prefer over rote memorization. It feels more fun, almost like a puzzle if you're trying to solve something versus just looking at a page and trying to remember it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, just in terms of the International Olympiads that you said you started from the age of 9. Um,
Yeah.
did that add lots of value to? I said I know you said that it is something that grew on you and you enjoyed it. Okay. Is it
hmm
something that everyone should actually pursue? What's your thoughts on that?
I would say not math Olympiad specifically, but going back to what I said earlier, if you have a passion for a certain field, whatever that field might be, even if it's not an Olympiad, but if it's some form of extension that just takes what you're doing at school or what you're doing at university to the next level, then firstly, doing it at that level will really, really help you at school or university because then that stuff becomes very routine for you.
Mhm.
But secondly, it will give you just huge advantages when you eventually make it to working age and you're looking for a job. Because at that point, what an employer would be looking for is not just score results, but like a passion for what you're doing. And if you're doing these extra things like these Olympiads, then that's a surefire way to show them that you're passionate about it. So math was just what that happened to be for me, but there's Olympiads and competitions, and even if it's not a competition, just there's so many areas that you can work towards in any field.
Yes. When I look back at my school days and I think about the pressure from the parents as well, the parents actually tell us, no, you have to do this, you have to do that, and this is the route you're going to take. And then later on,
Yeah.
you realize that is not where you want to be. That is not what you want to do. And that is why I asked you, are you going to do the 360 and go back into medicine? So yeah, that is basically what I was thinking about. But talking about data science and the real world impact, data science is increasingly vital across various industries. And we look at technology, we look at all the new exciting things happening. What excites you about the potential of data science?
So the thing about data science is that the applications of it, it's literally anything in the world where there's data, right? Right? And data or or data, it's present everywhere, no matter which field you're in. If you're in medicine, if you're in data science itself, or if you're in literally any field in the world, there's always going to be data that you can work with. And what we're seeing now is obviously the rise of AI, and AI is just entirely built on data and training these artificial intelligences based on the data that exists. So that is definitely the most exciting to me application of data science. And I mean, we've already seen like just ChatGPT and so many more what it's capable of. And in the next few years, I think we're all going to be pretty surprised by what it's going to amount to.
I'm surprised already. Every time I look at the internet, I see something new that's come up, and it's actually quite scary. I'm scared of these robots attacking me.
Yeah, and also what they can generate that looks super realistic. And in 5 years, it will probably be basically indistinguishable from real pictures and real videos and real prose and writing. So
Yes. And there's no way we can be prepared for this. We have to take it as it comes. So, I
yeah.
love how purpose-driven your thinking is. It's also refreshing to hear such a forward-looking perspective grounded in impact. And I'm looking forward to seeing your side of innovation. So, you're currently enrolled in an honors program in statistics at UKZN. What does the future
Yes.
look like in terms of your academic goals and professional ambitions? I know you said you want to do your master's and preferably outside of South Africa. Do you think you will
Yeah.
leave South Africa, or you're just going to study and get back into South Africa?
It's tricky, but kind of the gold standard what people in my industry are aiming for nowadays is a job where you can work from anywhere. And certainly if I can get that, then there'd be no reason for me to move. There'd be no reason for me to basically be anywhere. I could basically work from a different place every month if I wanted to and travel. That's definitely the gold standard, but I think we are a few years away from that becoming the norm. Obviously, nowadays it's still the norm to go into work and things like that.
Mhm.
But definitely that would be what I would like to have in the future. And in that case, I can come home to South Africa majority of the year or however often I want. That would be definitely something I would like.
So, just in my case, I have two homes, one in South Africa and one in Cambodia. So I do the
Mm.
same, in between my semester breaks. So yes, that is the perfect life to have. And I can see you've got a clear vision. No doubt, remote working is the in thing, and that's what we'd love to have. Sometimes I feel you just work 10 times harder, but but yeah, you actually given a lot. And I have no doubt that you contribute meaningfully in whichever path that leads you or you lead to. So just back on support systems and influences. Now I know you get a lot of support from your family. You did mention your gran. Um,
Yes.
so in media, you've credited your family quite a lot, especially your gran. Um, Take me through that journey. Can you share more about their support and how this contributed to your success?
Yeah, so I think anyone's only as strong as the people supporting them, right? And my family has definitely always been super, super motivating to me. My parents and my brother, and like you mentioned, my gran, she was actually an HOD and a teacher when she was working. And we spent a lot of time with her growing up, my brother and me. So she would teach us from a very young age. And I believe that a lot of what people consider to be natural talent and saying, I'm not talented at this or whatever, it's a lot more of a case of what you do at a young age because psychologically, like your brain when you're growing up is a lot more malleable, a lot better able to learn new things. So having her as like my brother and my first teacher when we were growing up, I credit the majority, if not close to like 80, 90% of our future success to what she taught us. So I'm definitely really, really grateful to her.
That that's deeply moving, and I love that. It's beautiful to see how family can be a foundation of strength. And your gran, I hope she watches this. Okay, so just mentors like professors that you mentioned, Professor Delia North and Pubalan Pillay, they've been pivotal in your development. What lessons or guidance from them that have had the most lasting impact on you?
So, like you said, these are two professors who are really just at the pinnacle of one was maths and one is stats at UKZN. And I was very lucky to learn from them from a young age because Professor Pillay, he did the Math Olympiad classes when I was still in primary school. So I was learning from him back from then. And you learn a lot more than just the content when you're learning from someone who's got so much of experience in their field. And what really stuck with me was that he was doing this just out of pure passion. He was teaching us just out of pure passion. And when you have that kind of passion for something and you see someone else with that kind of passion for something, it really motivates you to pursue it more. And having a teacher like him really helped me in my high school years and in my university years to keep that passion alive. And Prof. Delia North, she's the equivalent in the statistics field. And she actually recruited my brother and me to UKZN while we were still in high school. So the two of them, really, without them, I also wouldn't be where I am today.
Those insights are golden. I love the way you acknowledge and give recognition, and you're so grateful for what they've done.
Yeah, yeah, of
Clearly,
course, of course.
yes, you clearly value the guidance, and that has helped shape your journey as well, which is great. Um, so life beyond academics, we always talk about the people that are just so into their books. So balancing academics with your personal interests, that's crucial, right? Do you want to share your hobbies with us?
Yeah, so I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with being very focused on your work, but someone like me, I enjoy having hobbies. So for me, I knew that I had to have time each day or time each week where I can just forget about work and focus on something else. And the two things I focus on mostly are my YouTube channel, which is where I make videos. Right now, it's mostly about study content. I've been doing it for actually about 2 years. It started off on kind of a lot of a different notes, but it's gradually evolved to study content now. And that really fulfills the creative aspect of my life because making videos, I'm sure you know, making these videos for your show, it's very different than someone would think if they're just watching it. And I love that stuff. I love being creative and, writing scripts, telling a story, making a video, all that stuff, which being on YouTube is really amazing for. And then the other thing is my, I guess, working out style of choice is called calisthenics. It's like body weight training, sort of. And between that, which is like physically keeps me grounded, and YouTube, which keeps me grounded creatively, I get to what I feel is quite a good balance between university work and my hobbies, which it wasn't always like that. I used to be very, very driven and focused on, I guess I still am driven. I used to be a lot more focused on work, and I would not really have any life outside of it. But as I started to try these different things, I realized that I actually really enjoy them. So that's where I'm at now, and hopefully I get to keep them up throughout the rest of my studies.
I'm sure you will, definitely. Yeah, that's such a healthy and holistic approach, and I love that you've built a lifestyle that supports both excellence and well-being because it's so important for us to take care of our health and mental well-being as well.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes. Just back on your YouTube channel, I just want to find out what sort of feedback do you get from the audience?
Yeah, so at the start, you get no feedback because no one's watching your videos and you're just kind of doing it for the love of it. It's kind of gaining a little bit of traction now. It's still very small. It's about 5,000 subs or so. It's still very small for a YouTube channel, but with the viewers who watch it, it's a lot of people from my university. So I do get maybe if I had to put a number to it, maybe about 10 to 15 comments on a video I make asking about different things I'm talking about in the video. And some of them will message me on Instagram and stuff. It's really nice to be able to help people like directly like that. It's something that really is, it's very rewarding about having a channel where you help people. And I hope that if the channel ends up growing, I hope that's something that people will still be able to get value from at any level.
Yeah, I'm sure it is going to get traction and grow. It's difficult to actually grow channels. I know we're struggling with the YouTube channel as well, and I really want people to watch these videos because, people like you are such an inspiration to others, and I'm sure you can really change their mindsets. So, just reflecting on your journey, what advice would you offer to students aiming for academic excellence?
I would say the number one thing is you have to find some way that you can enjoy what you're doing. Because I say this time and time again, and that's that if you're obsessed with something and you really want to do it, it's never going to feel like work. And even if something like math for me, there's obviously a lot of parts of math that are boring, right? And you have to do them. But that's why I kind of changed my mindset to like, let's approach this as a puzzle that we're trying to solve and just ways that you can go about it and try to make it more fun for yourself. And certainly that's what I would say is the biggest lesson that I've learned, especially over the last few years at university, where the volume of content has just grown so much. It's that if you find a way to enjoy something, it's going to be a lot easier for yourself. And the other thing, apart from finding a way to enjoy it, is please watch like any videos online or just research how to study effectively because it's really a problem that schools don't teach it. And for example, if you spend, I don't know, a couple of days just looking at different ways of how to study and learning what's the best way, not the best way, I guess, because there's no one best way, but the good ways to study. If you do that, you'll save yourself like hundreds of hours. I was going to say millions, that's a bit much. Hundreds of hours in the long run. And it's the second thing that I did that I'm super, super grateful that I did.
Wow, that's amazing. That's such solid advice, Jaden. Thank you so much. Straightforward, doable, and incredibly helpful for young minds listening in. So,
Thank you
looking
very much.
forward, yeah, it's a pleasure. Looking forward, what legacy do you hope to build in the field of data science? I love that innovation swing to it. I'm always going to ask you this question. And how do you plan to make a meaningful impact?
So, data science, like I said, there's infinite applications, right? So, it's hard for me to predict where I'm going to end up one day, but definitely, like I said earlier, one of the things I'm most excited about is using AI, and specifically in the field of medicine and helping people like that. Because I think the impact you can make with medicine is huge. The impact you can make with data science is huge. And if you combine them, I think like you can save so many lives if you use those two together wisely. And that's if I had to pick one field where I think I would make the biggest impact, I think it would probably be something like that. And the other one is, of course, hopefully growing the channel to a scale where I can help millions of people study effectively and just live better lives because of it. That would be probably the dream at this stage.
People and passion. I love how you bring those two into everything that you say. Jaedon, it's been such a great chat. Do you have anything else to add?
No, just thank you so much for having me. And yeah,
It's my pleasure, and I'm sure you're going to inspire lots of people out there. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing. I think there's a lot of bits and pieces that one can take away from this. So thank you for that. And yes, like you said, whatever you study, make sure that you enjoy what you're doing and try different techniques and styles of doing things as well. And I wish you all the best. And I hope to have you back on the show at some point to see how you're progressing in your life's
that
journey.
would be that would be great.
Yes, thank you. And to the audience, if you would like to be on the Red Corner Show, please drop me an email, redcornershow@gmail.com. And you too could be sharing your journey with us that would inspire the rest of the world. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jaedon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.